One of the biggest issues I see with golfers on a day-to-day basis teaching is they're creating too much rotational force or too much rotational movement from the top of the swing. And they get to the top of the backswing, they've got a lot of pressure into their right leg, and what they try to do is push off of that right leg. And as I create all of that rotational movement from the top of the swing, my hand path moves out, my right shoulder moves out, and the club's just going to have this kind of over-the-top leftward move coming down. Some players will get that steepening move and then really push the hips in or early extend a lot, get the club kind of, let's call it, stuck behind them here and have a lot of this kind of over-rotation movement. Those players tend to be a little bit better, but they have a lot of face issues and can really struggle with missing the ball left at times. So what we're trying to feel before we get to the top of the swing to stop that movement from happening is we're trying to create the right sequencing of when I push or when I move my pelvis. So the movement at the top to stop the hips from going this way or this way from the top of the swing would be to create lateral movement in the pelvis before I get to the top of the backswing. So it's a concept that you'll hear a lot of times referred to as recentering. So I swing it back before I get to the top, I'm moving laterally. This allows my right arm to reconnect to my torso here, which keeps the club behind my hands. You can see it keeps my body angled to the right. I've got a ton of pressure built up here, right? It would actually be a little bit more at this point in the swing. So a ton of pressure built up into my left leg. And what I'm going to do then is just push off that left leg. So I go laterally and then I go vertically to create or help facilitate a lot of the rotational feels. Most people that I teach are trying to rotate too much because of what I hear on TV or what they see players do. They see a video of a tour player looking like this at impact and they're like, man, I got to turn my hips open more. Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that you're not a fucking tour player, so good luck trying to create that amount of rotation in your golf swing and hit a solid golf shot. What you're going to be able to do is feel that lateral motion and that vertical motion to help you facilitate a lot of that rotational. And so there are some people who do need to feel a lot more rotational, but typically it's sequenced at the wrong time for players, where we need to feel a lot more depth at the top, create a little bit of lateral in transition, and then create vertical coming through, or vertical early, and then continue that sensation coming through to then help us move the hands and body more around through impact. So as I'm swinging back to the top, I'm moving into that lead side early. My arms can then kind of reconnect here. I can push off the left side, again, straightening the left leg, push the left hip back, and that would create that leftward exit to get the club swinging from inside back to inside and hitting relatively straight shots. Honestly, you could hit it whichever direction you wanted to there, depending on how open the club face was and the direction the club was swinging. A drill that I found is very helpful to help that movement for players is just putting a club, a 60 or a 56 underneath, 54 even, underneath the right heel or the trail heel if you're a left-handed golfer. And what I want to do is as I'm getting to the top, feeling like I'm kind of falling into that left side, or you can feel a push down to that left side, you can see that's creating that lateral force, that's creating that lateral motion that gets the arms moving this way instead of this way. So as that heel lifts early, that club would drop early. So you're trying to feel like the club doesn't drop until after impact. I'm hitting the golf ball before this club head falls out from underneath my heel, and then now I'm going into follow through. That allows those hips to maintain their depth, because essentially when we see early extension video, which almost every single player that I see pushes their hips in too much because we're all shifting away from the target too much at the top, getting to the top, spinning out from the top, and then pushing away from the ground coming through, or pulling the arms back in coming through. So again, I'm getting to the top of the backswing, I'm trying to move down and left early and then push off the ground as I come through. You can see that right heel stayed down for a long, long time as I was doing that. And whenever we're making swing changes, we're trying to do it at slower, shorter speeds. Most players are trying to go too fast too soon. They think they're going to be able to get these feels at full speed and it's going to work. It's just not how it works when we're trying to train movement patterns. I'm a really big fan of swinging fast and creating a lot of club head speed. It's just not something we're going to be able to do when we're trying to make a big change like this. So make sure that when you're doing this drill, it's going to be much shorter, much more controlled, and much more deliberate in what we're trying to feel coming through impact. So if I was going to hit a golf ball with this, again, swing the club back about halfway back, start moving my pelvis forward early, and then push up going through. So it would look like this. And you can see that was about a 3/4 swing, arm parallel to arm parallel. The right heel stayed down for a long, long time. When you're doing this drill, the one thing you've got to watch out for is if you are getting into your right side too much at the top of the backswing, if you stay on that right side, you can leave that down. You're going to hit behind the golf ball a lot of times when you do that, or thin it. So the big key to this drill is you've got to feel that kind of early left shift or that early recentering into that left side. So I'm pushing down and left and then pushing off the ground. As we swing through, I want that push up and left to be what gets that heel to come off the ground and gets that club to drop after the ball is gone. Let me do one more for you here so you can kind of see the swing, see the drill. So swing it back, move into my lead side, push up as I go through. So again, that heel staying down for a long time, it's kind of going this way and then moving up that way as I go through, or kind of banking or rolling into impact. I'm not getting to the top of the swing and firing that right side early with a lot of rotation, but if you watch my swing as I swing through, I've got plenty of turn, plenty of rotation, plenty of speed, hit the ball as far as I want to.